Happy New Year! We are going to break down today things that we are taking with us into the new year, what we are letting go of, and hopefully the show brings you some new inspiration as you head into January 1 for life and business. Let's dive in. You're listening to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in. Happy New Year, friend.
Happy New Year.
It's a couple days early.
It is a couple days early, but at the same time, who knows when you're listening?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it's, we've been holiday full speed ahead.
It's
holiday
been 2 months.
For 2 months.
Over 2 months, Beth. Yeah.
I know, but it's one of my favorite times of the year. And I am like, my mind is truly blown that we are at the end of 2024.
Yeah. 2025 just seems, what?
Well, and when you say 2025, it sounds so like space and futuristic.
It does. It really does.
Doesn't that?
Yeah, it does.
When were the Jetsons? Like, what was that show episode set in?
I think it was supposed to like be 2000 or something. Maybe like, I don't know. But
I don't know. To me, in my mind, that sounds like a really like further out time of the year. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, wow. And we're here.
We're here. We are going to talk today about what we are taking with us into the new year and what we are letting go of. Wait, that's not what we're going to talk about. Nope, sorry.
What worked and didn't work.
Okay. So today on the show, we are going to break down what worked in 2024, what didn't, and what we're going to take with us as we go into the new year. So we're hoping this episode leaves you with some inspiration and maybe some ideas of how to kind of look at your year and think like maybe where you could, spend some more time, spend some less time, and just reevaluate things to make your life more grounded and amazing.
Okay, Christy. So what about you? What worked and didn't work for you in 2024?
I'm going to start big.
I know. Go big or go home, friend. This is how we do it.
Okay. What didn't work? So as many of you know that I've listened for quite a while here, that we bought property on the North Shore and we spent the majority of the summer, like 2/3 of the summer, up there building, that kind of thing. And so we were very lucky in that the build process went very quickly. However, we were very unprepared for that because we thought it would be very slow.
You're like a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah. So, which is anxiety invoking. But then once you get to like the end of build season, you're like, when things start to slow, then you feel like you didn't do enough. It's this total like mind mess up. But what we realized was our family does best when we're all together. So Kaya and I spent more time up there than Ryan. And we looked at the days and we're like, it's really not that many days that she won't be with dad. Like, it's no different than if we took like a vacation, that kind of thing. But for her, the leaving and the back and forth was really hard. It was hard on all of us, like that disruptive, the routine, that kind of thing. And not just like the routine that you would think in your everyday, like what your morning looks like or that. It's the routine of just dad is always there when I go to bed. Dad is always there in the morning. And we had an amazing time and it was okay, but we do best when we are together. So that was really the biggest lesson that I learned probably of all of 2024, and one that I knew, but it took it on to a whole new level.
Well, and I'm sure that had some implications, not only in your personal life, but that probably had some trickle over effect into your business life also.
So interestingly, I had more time because Kaya was at like a camp, right? So we shifted. So she had not been in like this, our schedule just shifted to where I ended up with more time. And because I wasn't like a wife during the week, right?
Yeah.
That I had bigger chunks to do more batch working. Like we copywrote that website and like took on a project. We normally don't take on projects in the summer.
Huge project we had no intentions of doing.
Yeah. And I had intentions of like, I'm going to work on my own brand and like build that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this because this needs to get done kind of thing. So it's interesting because it like my head was in the work, but the rest of things were just maybe feeling a little bit out of flow. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So we just learn like when we're together, and then the second that we're together, like everything shifts and the ease comes back in. So and it's not like, again, we spent like so much time apart. How we had it scheduled, like Ryan would be a week off work and then like there for like the long weekends. It just really like we felt the effects right away. We're such a tight knit family that we just felt it immediately. Another thing that did not work for me, and this is like the queen of like batching and the queen of like get into like your space that you can work and that kind of thing, is if I don't carve out intentional time for my own brand and business, I won't do it. And I will also carve it out and I will scratch it off and put something else in its place. So this doesn't work. And I am so guilty of this. And I've been doing this for quite a while, because when you're busy helping other people grow their businesses and you're in it and you truly love what you do and you're passionate about it, it's so easy to just avoid what you need to be doing because lack of time, number one, you don't have it carved out. Like there really wasn't time until this summer. And then I took on the website and then I found other things to fill my time, not things to like, frivolous things. We're building a home, but different. But if I'm not super, super intentional, it's not going to happen. And that is where I am now in a place. I don't have the answers right now, but I'm now in a place where I need to dig my feet into them and be like, this needs to happen. It's no longer a negotiable. And not because work isn't good, but because I want to. So that like doesn't work. And I'm trying to figure out that plan. And so what that's going to look like, and really looking at the reasons why. And I can't quite say, well, because I did this thing over, like, I can't even like say, well, because I wanted the easy card or anything like that. I need to just figure out a way to carve it in and make it make sense in my business.
It feels like it might take up different kind of creative brain space than what you do every day for us and for other creative endeavors that you do. And maybe you just didn't have the bandwidth for it while you were building a house.
It's so true. And like, there's also so much emotional growth there too, of the reasons why I'm not doing it. The lack of feeling good enough, where that's coming from. There's so much unpacking that I've been working on for years and years in therapy and like come so far, like really proud of myself. But at the same time, you can't just continue to like know, like I can't just continue to know I need to do it. Now is like a time where I feel like I need to take action and actually do it. So I'm not like necessarily frustrated or mad. It's just like I have this like kind of unsettled feeling because I'm not. So now it's like, okay, you've reached maybe past a little bit where you needed to be to get there. So that didn't really work. It worked great for the business I'm working with because I was more available. And it works great for like the flexibility of being able to be on site for building, that sort of thing. So those are the two things I think big that just really didn't work. Oh, one more thing, prioritizing myself. So I just more into, as far as like self-care and taking care of myself, more into Q4 or like end of Q3, Q4 is when I really was like, you know what? I just can't wait anymore. Like this whole, you start in the new year, or I'm going to start, when we get back, or whatever that looks like it just, I have to start taking small steps forward. And I am, like I said, like I love the batching. I love the big picture, the big problems and solving them and like getting it done. And I'm sure you can relate to, Beth, because you want that like quicker answer and you need to, it's every day. It's working that muscle and those everyday little steps. So accepting that the steps were going to look smaller and going to take longer is like what I was able to do come closer towards the end of the year. And so already in that process of taking better care of myself, but it didn't work leading up because it caused more stress and that kind of thing. So bad. Now on to you. What didn't work for you in 2024?
What didn't work great for me in 2024, I do really well when I have a powerful morning routine. And I got a little haphazard with it. I would say summertime, where I was still getting up really early. I was still, I love early mornings in the summer when it's bright and light out at 5 a.m. Magical. But I feel like lacking that morning routine was something that all of a sudden it just derails my day if I don't have that in place. I'm really set up for success better if I keep my morning routine powerful. So that could have used some work. I also like lack of time blocking. Like you're a time blocking ninja, and I love the beautifully color coded calendar. Like my brain likes that pretty, but I can easily be like, oh, squirrel, like this needs to get done. And so then I'll easily get derailed from my time blocking, and it totally affects my productivity. And no matter what I'm doing, like personal, business, lead generating, whatever it is, it's not great.
Can I ask a question around that? Just because I'm genuinely curious, and this has never actually come up before. So when you get to the place where you have the time blocking like set out, and then like, I know I need to do this. And then if you say you don't do it, right? So you're just like, fuck it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes you resent it even more?
Probably.
Okay. Because I just thought of that, because there'll be times where I'm time blocking, and, especially during our like really busy kind of crunch times.
Yeah.
And I'm literally physically uncomfortable. Like I'm like I need to get up and breathe and stuff. And I'm physically can feel my body saying done. And I'm, of course I would say, don't push yourself through, but no, you have to push yourself through sometimes. Yeah. And I actually like, it feels not good. So I would like imagine maybe it's that same feeling, but then I just like mostly can figure out a way to do it, because otherwise my day's going to suck or my week's going to suck. But okay, so you do get like a negative.
Well, and I took a course years ago where they're like, maybe you should just take it all off your calendar and just slowly start building things in. And I did that too. Oh. And
how'd that go?
It felt a little bit more liberating, but there's still things that I know have to get done. Mm-hmm. And so just, I don't know. I think that's some like more work I need to work on with my therapist, I suppose.
Or just if we're not time blocking the personal stuff, which I have gotten better at doing this year, but really, really good at time blocking work stuff. But then if you don't time block your time then it's like, well, this isn't working because I don't have anything left over.
Yes.
So that's also like something.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like there's always like that rub with me with time blocking. And I don't know, I haven't come to any big conclusions.
My podcast episodes are not helping.
No, it didn't help at all. I'm like, I get the concept of it. I totally get that.
So that's not going back to those episodes.
Yeah, that's not clicking for me. The last thing is like I got a little haphazard with my workouts. Like when the weather's so nice, the last thing I want to do is be in the gym. But I also know myself well enough. Mark keeps saying, he's like, I'm going to start working out and I'm going to go work out at night. No, you aren't.
We're still pushing for a cold plunge at BPR headquarters. So in a sauna.
Carrie and I
we're pushing for that.
But like, I know that if I do a workout first thing in the morning, even before the sun comes up, I don't even have time to talk myself out of it. And I had a coach years ago. She's like, if you're struggling with working out, she's like, put your workout shoes and your workout clothes like literally at the end of your bed. Mm-hmm. And so you get up and like you're tripping over them. So you got to like just go to the gym. Yeah. But yeah, very inconsistent with the workouts here and there. But then when I was consistent with it, I felt so much better. So then I'm like, okay, we need to get on a better track for 2025.
You send your tips my way.
All right. Let's see what I got. So what did work really well for you?
Oh, okay. So I love this question because I love looking at both sides of it.
Yeah.
I love, and I don't even know if this is like the right way exactly to put this out there, but I love how the team feels. This is working. The energy of the team feels so good. I realize when I'm in surrounded by like a good space, and not to say like every day is great or like there haven't been like hard months or anything like or hard weeks or something like that when, we're throwing a curveball or something, but the energy overall feels good. And so I'm really sensitive to that. And I'm wired that way. My human design, I'm wired that way. Like I can walk into a room, instantly know something's up. Like it's just how I am. And so I can like, I've gone and met a friend and like they've said nothing and I already know like something, like there's a really depth there to get through. So I'm really intuitive that way. And so in my work and in my work setting, it matters so much. And I think that, I mean, I knew that, but I don't think I knew it to the extreme because I'm not in here every day. I'm working remotely from home most of the time. And, you know, getting together when we're getting together. But that part is working. The energy of the team is absolutely working. So I guess they could call it the vibe, the energy that is working for my peace.
We made some changes and it was very noticeable immediately how energy shifted. It was interesting that you really picked up on that. Love that.
Yeah. Something else that has worked is really just like when our family's together, we can do just about anything, like understanding that. So even though like we had some hard things, lessons learned this summer for sure. And the overall theme was like us together is better. When we are together, we can like move mountains. Like it's incredible. We have a 5-year-old and we can do so many things as a family. And so that experience of, I know that we're all very capable human beings in our own way. And I know that our child is really adaptable. We have raised her to be, she's an incredible human being. But to see it in action, that's working. What we're doing as a family is working. So as much as that was really, I'm going to tear up, as much as that was really hard, it also showed us so much of what we were capable of. And I love it.
That's
I love
really
that
special.
Yeah. So another big thing was like letting go or letting relationships fall off. I shouldn't even say letting go. So I have learned, like, being friends with you for so long, Beth. How long have we been friends? Like forever.
For a long time.
For a long time. And
15 years.
I have always been just like so in awe of like your ability to like maintain relationships and friendships and see people for their greatest strengths and to like meet them there. And I mean, we've grown as humans like enormously since we've met, right? And I've always really loved that about you. And I think for me, I can see all that, but it is hard for me to maintain when it is not like, I'm not saying you maintain like bad relationships by any means, but like to remove like, this can just be what it is, right? And so I've seen you do that and to like really walk that so beautifully. And it has allowed me to like let go without pushing out relationships that just don't serve my life or family. And without that big, like, I'm done. Or like, this is like,
it doesn't need to be that at all.
No. And so it has created so much more peace.
Yeah.
And it has also shown me that I'm completely capable of making new friendships that are deep and authentic and just incredible. And so I sort of had to like change that dialogue in my head, and I have really, and it's something I work with, but you do this so beautifully.
Well, and friends can be in your life for just a season.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean anything happened. It doesn't mean anything bad happened. It's sort of just like the evolution of
and there doesn't have to be this like, you know, like I'm done, so now I move on. Which for me is like so much easier to like check this off, time block, right? You get all this done, check, move on here. Like that works so well for my brain. And relationships, it can just be like this flow. And that where my energy goes matters more than what's actually going on otherwise.
And you can pick up where you left off 5 years down the road. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's what a cool thing to like learn and feel good about when that's probably not how you're wired.
Not wired that way.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's a really good one.
Okay. So what's working for you in 2024 besides your year's awesome?
I kind of wrote all business stuff. I guess maybe I didn't understand the assignment.
I think I pretty much mostly did personal. So like we're kind of going to level this out.
I know. And mine feels like more business type things. I feel like we really crushed events this year. They felt really authentic. We had really beautiful turnout. And I think so much of that is that people are really being drawn to the brand and like, you know, like what we stand for and how we serve clients and how we make people feel at the end of the day. I think people want more of that. So they just keep showing up and inviting friends. And that is like, to me, feels like, okay, we're doing what we set out to do.
It's such a compliment to what you're doing in your business and brand. And really like, I love so much that you can be proud of this because you really should be.
Yeah.
And when you show up, this is another thing, when you show up as you truly are and you show up as you in your brand, which we see that not always happen many times, people know what they're getting. They genuinely want you. It makes it so easy. Not that the work's always easy, but it makes it easy because you don't have to put on a show.
Right. Yeah. It just felt really like we've talked about the word easeful, like where it's not really a word. We sort of made up that word, but like it's been really full of ease, and it hasn't made planning events feel like a drudgery. Like it's felt like really good. And at the end of the event, I'm like, oh yeah, like our Christmas party, like total success, so much fun, great time connecting with people. Like loved every second of it. Yeah. So much fun. A client connections, I guess this kind of just like flows into that, is that making like authentic connections with people. I think so many people in real estate, they're like, oh, that's my realtor. Well, I don't want anyone to really call me a realtor at the end of the day. I want them to be like, oh yeah, that's my friend Beth. Oh yeah, and she's also my realtor. But like I have made so many friends over the years, and it's interesting that you would talk about like putting friends on your list too, and people that I'm like, our paths would have never crossed had real estate not been involved. And then it's like, holy shit, why are we not friends? Like there's no reason we can't. There's no way that we couldn't not be friends, because we have so much in common. We have the same twisted sense of humor, you know, like all those things. And it's just, it creates like this extra depth and richness to life that I don't know, that I just cherish greatly. So I don't know. I think the connections that I've made, and not only with clients, but like with vendors and with just other people that have had like this little trickle down effect. Rotary connections. Like I met Cheryl and Carrie on our team from Rotary.
Who you surround yourself, like we've talked about this so much, like who you surround, and you hear this so much. Yeah. Gosh, who you surround yourself with matters.
So much.
Just does.
So much. Yeah. And I really I love that saying, you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And so I think about that pretty regularly.
I do as well.
I'm like, okay, who did I spend the most time with this last quarter? Okay, do I feel good about that? Or could I be like, you know, like you said, not intentionally like ending a friendship, but it's like, maybe I need someone new in slot 4 that really could maybe enrich my life in a different way that it's not being enriched currently. So I really loved that. And consistency in emails and social media. Like we've talked about this on social media ad nauseum.
Like smiling when you say email.
And batching has become so much easier. Like I've created some hacks. Maybe we'll do an episode on that. That I was kind of experimenting with some things, and they actually work better. And I've been doing it a certain way for 3 years. And all of a sudden this year I switched things, and I'm like, holy shit. Why did I not do this sooner? I don't even know. We'll talk about that. We'll
tackle batch working together maybe in the new year, Beth. Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah. But it's a great way to continue to make connections with people. And then kind of like the outlier that I didn't have on my list, but I just thought about while I'm talking right now, is pushing myself to do things that I'm uncomfortable with. So this is the first time I'm talking about this. Should I talk about what I did this year?
Do it.
So I had a friend like 20 years ago, and he's like, you should do stand-up comedy. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you're so fucking funny. You should do stand-up comedy. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. And he's like, no, I think you could. And I think you would crush it. So that's just been rattling my brain for maybe like 20 years. And probably, I don't know, back in October, I was having a conversation with a girlfriend, and I'm like, I love my job. I love what I do. I love my career. I love serving clients. I'm like, but there's a piece of me that is not feeling as creative as I would like to be. And she's like, well, you talked about that stand-up comedy thing like forever ago. And I'm like, I did, didn't I? And I'm like, what would I do with it? And she goes, why don't you go take a class? I'm like, where would I take a class? And she's like, I don't know, Google it. And so I did. Sure enough, there's a stand-up comedy class in my community, and I took it, and it was really nerve-wracking. The very first class, I had to get up and like do a little shtick, and it was really fun. And I had a recital. Ooh. And I had a stand-up comedy recital. So I had a gig. I actually had a gig, and I invited friends and family to it, and it was really fun.
What like an incredible way to push yourself like out of your comfort zone totally, and to actually say yes to something you really want to do. It's amazing.
Very, very much out of my comfort zone.
If you needed any inspiration to go do that thing, here you go.
Here you go. Give me a call. We'll chat, and I'll be your cheerleader.
Awesome.
Well, so like what are you taking with you, Christy, into the new year, into 2025? What are you like, oh my gosh, I'm totally taking them with me? Or what are you like letting go and you're like, yeah, this no longer serves me or my life?
Well, so I'm letting go of all those things that
The things that didn't work.
I'm really going to try to shift that. Yeah. And just letting go, gosh, that's such a great question, Beth. I feel so mixed on this. And I really sat with this for quite a while before we recorded to sort of think of like how I would respond. And right now I feel like I'm in a season of action and things that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And I don't have the plan quite figured out, but I'm going to act anyways. So that is where I am at. I have these things rattling around that I want to do. I want them, of course, all to be planned out and perfect, before I do them. And I'm going to do it anyways.
As we all do, yes.
Yeah, right? So really what I'm taking with me is the knowledge that I've gained, especially not putting any focus really into my own part of my brand and business, and making sure that I put some focus there intentionally and just do it even though it's not perfect. So we are taking so many big risks this year in 2025 as a family, and like just different things, taking on different things that we normally wouldn't. And I think here at the team, we're going to be doing some really awesome things as well. And so going in with not like completely without, any idea, but really not having something formulated and still going. That's what I'm taking with me.
That's really awesome. I love that. I loved so for 2024 was the first year ever that I have had a word of the year with like an intention and everything. And I was less concerned with making like, these are my goals and these are the things that I want to do for the year. So I always have like a list of things that I want to do. I was less focused on crossing the things off those lists and more focused on like a feeling. So my word of the year was abundance. And I stopped using the caveat that I was using at the beginning of the year. I'm like, it doesn't just mean to just get rich.
Yeah.
And also I can be rich and that's okay.
Yeah.
And rich.
Wait, what did you say? You can be rich and that's okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
I know. What a bold thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Like of course you can.
And abundance means what abundance means for me. It doesn't mean what it means for you or anyone else that's listening. It means what it means for me. And it was so incredible to see all like the different ways abundance showed up in my life in 2024. And so I don't know what my word is going to be quite yet for 2025. But for sure, I'm going to have a word of the year or maybe a couple of words of the year because I loved how that just evolved and unfolded throughout the year.
I love that you pick words now.
Yeah, it was cool.
So
I was
good.
like, maybe there's something to this. And I'm like, let's give it a try.
It gives you something to go back to without like getting so detailed into that goal. It gives you just like a place to go ground yourself and get back to.
Well, and if you really sit and think about it, it's fun to see like all the places where that word showed up versus like, oh shit, I looked at my list and I have 10 things on my list and I've only crossed 2 off and I feel like a fucking failure. So I feel like it shifted things in my brain because I'm really like an all or nothing. I'm like, I'm on top of the world or I'm like spiraling the drain.
Been there.
So I feel like just having the word helped me look for where did abundance show up and what did that look like.
I love that.
It was awesome.
Wow. This is great.
I didn't think this episode was going to be as heavy as it was.
Oh my
but
gosh,
there we go.
That was a little heavy. So
and I just outed myself in my stand-up comedy life.
Oh my gosh. So we'll send you all her videos. So just shoot us a DM on social. I have them. Don't worry. I'll send them to you. Just shoot me a DM. I'll send them to you. No, but hopefully this episode leaves you feeling inspired to take audit of kind of what's going on in your year, what went on and what you really want to bring in the new year. So yeah, we hope this inspired you to take maybe some action.
And happy New Year, Bus
happy
Bench
New
babes.
Year.
Holy cow, 2025 is nearly here.
2025 is nearly here. So until next time, Bus
Keep
Bench
your
babe.
face off a bus bench.
And keep being the badass boss babe that you are. Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us, and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.